Welcome to the Distorted Realities audiocast, Echoes Through Time. Here are your hosts, J-Rock, Frank Walls, and Mr. Valentine. Remember, discuss the unknown and discover your truths.
Good evening, fellow time travelers. This is your host, J-Rock. Welcome to Distorted Realities, where we get to discuss the unknown and you get to discover your truths. To my right, I have none other than Mr. Frank the Tank Walls.
What up, guys? How you guys doing tonight? And also, thank you, Mr. J-Rock, the Meet the Man, the legend, J-Rock. Thank you for introducing myself over here. Thank you. And remember, guys, some of these stories are enough to make even skeptic wonder. And to my right-hand side, I got the most nicest person in the world, Mr. Valentine.
Thank you, Mr. Frank the Tank Walls. Greetings and salutations, friends. My name is Mr. Valentine, and I'm glad to be back here again. And this episode is quite the doozy, considering history is filled with stories that refuse to be explained.
Absolutely. But before we do that, right, we're gonna have to go into our background video and showcase some wonderful information that involves time travel, but before that, we're gonna start off with the actual commercial announcement for Distorted Realities, just a little advertisement that we've been sharing for the past couple of days, and at that point we'll start off the show.
Hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you dare to discuss the unknown and discover your truths? Then look no further than Distorted Realities, hosted by the ever-so-smart J-Rock, the multi-talented and funny bone of the group, Frank the Tank Walls, and the most daring and loved by all, Mr. Valentine. Join them as they discuss conspiracies, talk tales of horror, and venture out to provide their findings on mysterious adventures. You can check them out on Sundays at 8 p.m. on www.youtube.com/Distorted Realities, Rumble.com, TikTok, and most social media platforms. You can also listen to their tales while driving at night, as they also have their audio cast available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Podcast. So if you like monsters, mysteries, and more, check out Distorted Realities, where they get to discuss the unknown, and you get to discover your truths.
All right, folks, we're back. Let's put on the background music. Time travel. Time. The concept of time. A construct made by man for us to understand pretty much how we operate on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah.
Do we all agree with that?
Yeah.
It's a man-made construct, because for those of you who are devouts and religious, in the beginning, God didn't create the clocks or time. He created the heavens, the earths, the lights, all that other stuff in 7 days. But he never said anything about time, right?
And also, he measures times different.
Right? He measures times, but there's an obsession with time ever since it's been created, right? For me, H.G. Wells, The Time Machine, that's where it started for me. And I'm not talking about H.G. Wells' The Time Machine movie. I'm talking about the books. Yeah, so the original books that were made for us people who didn't have iPads at the time, right? We actually had to read. We go to a library and we read. It took us to a special place, right? And that special place was about a man who was an inventor, a scientist, a man who had a lot going for him in terms of being creative. And he invented a time machine and he was able to go back in time.
Reminds me of Back to the Future.
Right? Well, Back to the Future kind of was inspired by that, right? Because it was the first of its kind. So for me, it was one of those things where when we first saw it in movies, which was in the late 70s or early 60s, late 70s, somewhere around there, we saw the movie. We saw this guy sitting on what looked like a Christmas sleigh with a whole bunch of adornments, and then he had this special shift made out of diamonds, and he would just like turn the knob, and he would pick the time he wanted to travel to, and he could go back in time.
Only if it was that easy.
However, in doing so, he ends up going into the future, not realizing that. And in going into the future, he realized that the world is a lot worse than what we thought. It actually went back to its old prehistoric ways.
Oh, wow.
Right? So that was for me the inspiration about, or the desire to want to understand time to the point where I became obsessed with it. I am all about efficiency. How much can I get done within a given amount of time? Because I know time is not infinite.
Mhm.
Time is of the essence.
Right? We're all living on borrowed time.
Yeah.
So this concept, this construct, right, that was created has also created avenues of conspiracy, of mysticism, of I don't know how to discuss it, but really for me it's just an obsession, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a slew of talking points, and we got kind of like, we broke this down into segments, right? The first one being stories, time travel stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we start off, and I'll kick it off. The chronovisor.
Ooh, good
Right.
one. Mentioned before in the Distorted Realities podcast.
Wow.
So we've mentioned it, but not in great detail.
You're starting heavy. That's a heavy artillery right there.
Yeah. So what is the chronovisor, right? The chronovisor was a machine made by a Father Pellegrino Ernetti, right? And this was from the 1970s. He was in the Vatican, and apparently, or the legend behind this is that Father Pellegrini invented the chronovisor, and this resulted in him being able to see Jesus getting crucified via think of Nintendo Virtual Boy, right?
The world's first virtual
That was crazy.
reality
So
headset.
So thinking about it, you put this thing on your eyes and you're able to see in time, and that's why it's called the chronovisor, right? However, there is no evidence that shows that outside of images which were debunked, right? That it was just an old photo op that they showed from a statue of Jesus looking up, getting crucified, and it just so happens that it was a statue. You have no evidence of the equipment. There was never any blueprints for this piece of equipment, and apparently Father Pellegrino decided to erase it from existence because he didn't want it to fall in the wrong hands, right? Something so powerful, right?
Being able
But-
to see into the future would
or see the
cause issues.
past.
See the future and past would cause issues.
So
It was kind of like one of those witch balls that you can see.
the mystic
Right,
orb.
right.
It was like a TV thing, something like that.
So it's one of those things where it led me to question, right? You okay, sir?
Wrong pipe.
Oh, he's drinking on some Distorted Realities brew, and it went through the wrong pipe. I wish I could turn back time to avoid it, but it's too late. So, can it be real?
I think so.
I
I would love to think it would be real. I mean,
Listen, in the Vatican, underneath the Vatican, I heard they got a lot of stuff that we're never gonna find out.
Right.
So, I think it could be real.
So you think it could be real? So here are my thoughts on this concept of the chronovisor. I think some things are meant to be hidden, because if you can see into the past, you have a glimpse of what truly happened. You can find relics that are buried beneath the earth. You can tell the stories with sure accuracy.
Yeah.
Right? But you also have the ability to alter the future because you know what's going to happen if you look into the future, right?
Yeah.
Even the name is like is the chronovisor, you know.
Chrono.
So let me
Cronus.
so now that we understand that concept, so that really comes from
The god of time.
the Chronos is
Isn't
the
that
god.
Greek-
Well,
Greek
he's
mythology?
not. So Chronos, right? He's considered the god of time, but it's not because of his name. It's because he had a scythe called the scythe of time, and he castrated Uranus with the scythe of time, and
wow.
therefore the sperm that leaked out of Uranus created Europa,
Wow.
Yeah.
which is Europe, right? It birthed Europa, which is a female in Greek mythology. The long and short, right, is that I believe that if an invention like this would have been in the right hands, it would be in the hands of the Vatican, because at the time they had access to everything and had the power to make sure that the people who didn't need to know didn't know. So that's why I'm gonna say, it's very plausible, right, that some kind of tech exists.
Isn't like the Vatican like pretty hidden though?
Yeah.
Like there's not much known about
Well,
it.
I mean, they have ancient text that has never been seen by people. They supposedly have some kind of relics from
Everywhere.
from the devil
That-
and stuff like that. So-
That's why I really like Indiana Jones, because there's a part in Indiana
The
Jones
Holy
that-
Grail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Indiana Jones, if there's a spot where you're in the video game, you go to the Vatican and you can see all this crazy stuff in there, but that's besides the point. The Vatican holds a lot of secrets though. It
Yeah,
holds a
so
lot.
supposedly when the Templars, right, the Inquisition era, so all these people were looking for relics around the world. So they were finding all this stuff and take it to the Vatican. Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the tech does or perhaps did exist, and if it does or did exist, it's in hands of people who probably understand the ramifications and don't want people to know, or, which is the more likely, these are the same people that are using the technology to their
Advantage.
advantage, and they're altering the reality that we're living in today.
The distorted reality.
There you go.
That's a good one. That's a good catch.
So yeah, let's turn it over to you, Mr. Valentine, and let's talk about the Montauk.
Well, the Montauk Project, it's a theory in which there were Air Force bases in Montauk, New York, that were being used to research psychological techniques. And this was actually used in Stranger Things. Okay. That's one of the most recent pieces of media. And there's also a film adaptation called Montauk Chronicles, which I never heard of until today. Now, the Montauk Project, like the theory, conspiracy theories around it have been started or been floating since 1980. According to a UFO researcher, they would kidnap people and they would perform psychological sort of tactics on them to make sure that they can use this in war. Is this real? I think so. Oh,
What does that sound?
That could be
It's a
an
time
alien,
machine.
An alien ship.
Could it
the
be?
time machine. It's the DeLorean going down the street.
Oh, look at that. Where's the flux capacitor? Great Scott!
But basically, it goes under the umbrella of mind control, trying their best to use psychological tactics in ways of either mind control or just a whole bunch of different ways of using it in a offensive sense.
So you know that it's just more than that. You have the Montauk monster that was discovered,
Yeah.
right? And you had a lot of different like scientific work.
I think
that's
Montauk,
done.
New York is just weird.
Yeah, I there's a laboratory there.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an island, right? Montauk is the island one.
Yeah.
So I heard they find offshore. They have find creatures, like weird creatures offshore, and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, Montauk, New York is just a really weird place. but I wouldn't doubt them using Air Force facilities or laboratories to practice these psychological tactics on people. Maybe they'll frame it as a UFO to kidnap these people.
You never know.
So just in case, where did I put? Oh, there we go. Just in case, for those of you who are listening in, if you want to talk about any experiences you've had with time or anything to that effect, you can contact us at 904-803-7327, 904-803-7327. You want to say that in Telemundo.
Para aquellos que nos quieran contactar o venir y llamar al programa, pueden llamarnos al 904-803-7327. Repito, 904-803-7327. Puede llamar y contarnos sus anécdotas sobre algo que le haya pasado respecto al tema que estamos hablando hoy, que es viajes en el tiempo o alguna paradox en el tiempo, algo que le haya... Puede ser un déjà vu, right?
Right. So we're going to talk about that, but is there anything else you want to add to Montauk?
Don't visit it.
Don't visit it. So let's before we jump onto Frank Walls' segment,
Wow.
I wanna talk real quick about things that happen to all of us as regular human beings, right? One of them is the deja vu experience, and I remember I met a mystic, right? And her name was Rosa, and not only was she a mystic, she was a psychologist. And one day she told me, I had a moment. I said, I could have sworn this happened before. And then she said, you had a bleed through in time. And then I had to sit down with her, and it almost felt like it was a psychological session, right? And she goes, so here, everything that has ever happened or will happen or happens in different parallel universes already did, because time is faster. You're experiencing time. And every now and then, your brain goes far ahead and sees through it. And then when you experience it, you kind of recall it from happening.
Deja vu.
And that's deja vu. She called it a bleed through in time.
Mm.
It was a freaky experience for me
That happens to Neo in The Matrix when he sees the black cat.
Deja vu is just, now thinking about it,
You see the black cat 2 times. And he said, like, deja vu. And somebody asking, like, what did you say? Deja vu? And then
I haven't watched The Matrix in a minute, so that scene is not...
So that is a construct, that is a thing. And what if that's our way of time traveling? Because remember, we have atoms and molecules within our systems that far exceed our abilities and understanding, right? It's like when we talk about photons and electrons, you know that they're moving static, they're moving all over the place without any rules or anything. But the minute we look at them, they become static.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that tells me something. That means that our perception of something changes the reality.
The distorted reality. Okay.
Once again. But
that's it's a really good program, let me tell you.
Yeah, isn't it?
We got the right word or theme,
Yeah, right. So Frank, what do you got for us?
I got the Philadelphia experiment. It's a popular in 1943 military urban legend claiming the U.S. Navy successfully made the destroyer escort USS Eldridge invisible and accidentally teleport it through time and space. Wow.
Teleportation.
That sounds like
teleportation.
Sounds like another version of the USS Enterprise. Right? It says the Navy officials denied the event, and historians attribute the myth to the misinterpretation of routine and naval experiments. They're always gonna deny it. Listen, they never gonna tell you. The government never gonna tell you this happened to us. You know what I mean? And it says the legend claims that according to the myth, which surfaced in 1950, the experiment was based on Albert Einstein's unfilled field theory. The goal was to render the Eldridge invisible to enemy radar and optic devices. The incident when a generator were activated, the ship was illegally enveloped in a strange glowing green fog, disappearance and teleportation. The ship didn't just become invisible, it purposely vanished completely and repeated in Norfolk, Virginia, hundreds of miles away before returning to Philadelphia. Wow.
Teleportation. Now
So-
that's a
That's
topic I
crazy.
like,
That's
and that's
crazy.
because just the thought of it,
Mm-hmm.
being able to take a step and appear somewhere 5,000 miles out.
You ever watch the movie Jumpers?
No, actually, I have. I have seen.
I love that movie.
But that's
I would have
crazy.
done the same he did. I would teleport to a bank. He teleported to a bank,
Took all the money?
vault, and took all the money. Yeah,
I mean, listen, who's gonna stop you?
exactly.
They can't explain it.
Right, right. So
Crazy, huh?
it's
Teleportation.
so the crazy part was how these people, when they teleported, how they came back. So when they came back, some of them were stuck in between the metal walls and floors,
wow.
and
Oh,
their
sort of
bodies
like-
were cut and they were dead in some cases. That's why this became a real big problem.
Telefrag.
So they kind of like, when they teleported and came back, they were misplaced and they were stuck between the walls. It's almost like, you ever seen that movie where a person gets a piece of metal, just go right through their like half of
Yeah.
their body and they're just stuck there. That's what they reported transpired.
Kind of like their molecules make one with the chip.
Kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, but instead of their molecules making one with the ship, they don't, and then I'm getting split in half.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty much it.
Yeah, like their body. What happens is, like, this is it. They use this in a lot of media. A person would teleport, get stuck in between
Yeah,
something,
between.
and then just get sliced in half.
That's why they need to, every time you see these things in comics or whatever, I need to see where I'm going. I cannot tell you a teleport. Like,
Yeah.
I need to have a picture or something.
Like
Just to,
realistic teleportation. That is
it's like in the movie Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
your favorite.
Matar o morir. Come on.
So that's the Telemundo version. Like, they put the same name on every movie, right?
Yeah.
So you see Jean-Claude Van Damme in Matar o Morir. And it's always the same name for every single movie.
In that movie, if you travel through time and you see your own self, you cannot touch
Yeah,
yourself, like a handshake or whatever,
that's a general rule of time, though. Is
because
that
two molecules of the same cannot be occupying the same space, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's like a physics rule, some shit like that.
Yeah, it is. It is a physics rule, and there we are live on
Wow.
stream.
not? Whoa.
Hey guys,
What up,
We're
what
just
up,
saying
what up?
hello, and we'll be switching it up from time to time so that you can maintain the visual of the new Distorted Realities studio. Right there goes Mr. Valentine and Frank Walls.
What up, what up, what up?
Here's another view of us here.
see
If
if
we
it
can
works.
switch. Do I disconnect the camera? We'll take a look at it in a second.
This is cool.
But yeah, hey, say wave, Mr. Valentine, the nicest guy in the world. There he goes. So yeah, so that's kind of like where we're headed at now, with new visuals, new lay of the land, and there I go.
There's J-Rock. There he is.
Mr. Meet the legend, man, the man that meet the legend, J-Rock.
All right, so let's go back to the background video that we have wonderfully prepared for you guys, and we're gonna go on a brief 5-second break to check the other camera, and we're gonna mute ourselves. All right, we're back. We're just making sure that all our ducks are in a row, so to speak. Let's see. Let's test it out. This is, by the way, we're testing this out for the first time. We actually have a new track, a secondary camera, some new lighting kits. So we're just making sure that we're ready for Distorted Realities Live, because we're bringing that back into the forum.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for Max Meeks, because he's always watching the show. Anyone else on?
Oh, we got Mr. Max Meeks. Just don't wear a watch, he says.
Don't wear a watch.
Don't wear a
Don't pay attention to the time.
That you know what? We're gonna talk about that in a second. Let's just go and take the background video off and go back into our ATEM.
We got Smoky Flames.
Hey, what's up? There we go. We finally got
Be
it
careful.
right. Oh, it looks so good. Look at that. So polished.
We're actually clean.
And the other camera's actually looking pretty good.
Definitely.
We might have to adjust it a bit, but at least we know that this thing is on full tilt.
What is the other one? The other one is the other shot.
The other shot is there.
That's $1 million shot right there. There you go.
It's all you, Frank. It's all
Right in the
you. Look
center,
at that.
right in the
Look
center.
Look at that face.
No.
A face that only a mother could love. All right, so let's go back. This is awesome, by the way. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. We really emphasize quality, not just in storytelling and conversation, but in visuals. And we've made vast improvements. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud. So, yes. Round of applause, and thank you for the supporters, because we make this happen for you, all right, for your enjoyment. So on to the video scope, guys. All right, so
They're making the front case. The front case. Don't drink the water. I'm Alex Jones.
Water's making the frogs gay.
all right, so let's go back. Background music is the background music playing? Yes, it is. Okay, great. So Max Meeks kind of hit the nail on the head. Don't look at the watch or remove the watch, right? So let me tell you something that happens. Don't you notice that when you're the most busiest, time tends to fly,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you're looking at a clock,
It
slows
takes
down.
forever.
Slow, it takes forever, yep.
You know why?
Why?
Motion. Motion changes how time behaves.
You don't move, time doesn't move.
Let me tell you
time
something.
moves.
Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't realize this. What is a plane? A plane is a time machine. Think about this. For you to go to somewhere else before, you can only go in a boat. And that will take you forever. Now in a plane, it's faster.
Right.
You can just, especially if you're using one of those jets, like a Concorde jet or whatever.
And by the way, we're all time travelers to some extent.
Yeah.
And
We all
here's-
work.
and- no, and
Even your car.
And here's how I know that. When I went to the Air Force graduation ceremony of my son-in-law,
Shout out to
we had to
Lucas.
Yes, Lucas. We hope you're doing well.
Thank you for your service,
And
Lucas.
thank you for your service.
Please disclose if you see any aliens.
Please do.
Don't.
Be a whistleblower.
We got your back.
No, they had your back.
All right, so going back to that, we experienced time travel, and how do we do that? Right, we went from Florida to Colorado to San Antonio, which they just lost. Sorry,
Nixon 5.
next one. So we traveled and we came back. It was 3 hours earlier,
Wow.
and when we came back to Florida, it was 3 hours later.
You see?
In a sense, it is time travel, right?
Of course.
And that's because you have time zones,
Mm-hmm.
right?
EST, PST.
So the whole problem that I have with this is that it kind of messes you up, right? Like your cadence.
Because you're traveling through time.
you know what, Frank? You could not have said that better.
Hey. That's why you get jet lag. You're getting jet lag. It's traveling through time at a different speed.
Jet lag is just you lagging.
Remember, in a vehicle, the most you can go in a vehicle, if it's a sport vehicle, maybe like 200 miles per hour, and there's no road for that. But in a plane, you're going like 1,000 miles per hour.
That's not true. You ever gone to the Autobahn?
Well,
In
that's Germans. You know, these Germans.
Well, I'll do you one better. Germans, they created
The Autobahn.
no, they created a time travel machine. It's called Die Glocken.
Wow.
It was short for a bell, and that bell,
The Bell. Yeah.
right, was able
You're
to
right.
teleport and time travel. So yes, Die Glocken, Guggentalk, right? That's from Doom.
Doom or Wolfenstein?
Oh no, Wolfenstein.
There we
Wolfenstein.
go.
There you
Yeah, in
go.
the Autobahn, you can just go 200 miles per hour. There's no,
right.
but that's why they got those Beamers and the Mercedes.
Yeah.
Right. So
They're built for that.
So let's continue, right? Because we could make a lot of great talking points about A, B, and C. But I think that a lot of stuff where the influences come from. I said The Time Machine. Well, here's my number one show is The Twilight Zone by Rod Serling.
Good show. Everyone should watch that.
And there was an episode that was so amazing. It started Burgess Meredith, right? He plays Mick from the movie Rocky. You gotta get him, Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
He did an episode called Time Enough at Last, and it was about a guy who worked in a bank and he loved reading. And it just so happens that there was this nuclear explosion, and he found the library and he wanted to read, but at the very end, his glasses broke and he couldn't see.
Oh wow, that's
it was amazing.
That's
an
bad.
amazing episode, to be more precise. But Burgess Meredith was an amazing actor. I mean, not just because he played Mick, but because he did a lot of stuff that was character driven and he knew how to play the role, right? And these are just influential movie pieces that deal with time and time travel.
You want to know what surprisingly is a really good movie for that? The Mr. Peabody and Sherman movie.
Right.
Yep, Peabody and Sherman, they go time traveling.
Yeah.
And Mr. Peabody is very, adamant about time travel. Do not do it. Be careful with it. So that's another really good movie. If you haven't seen it, please watch that animated movie. It is probably one of the best representations of time travel.
What if all these things that because the world has changed a lot. The world there was some from the 2000s to now, something changed.
I'll tell you what's the biggest example. Benjamin Button.
There you go.
Benjamin Button, okay.
So the curious case of Benjamin Button, right? He grew up as an adult and then he kind of reversed aged and became like a baby again, right?
But I heard that's like a disease, huh?
No, that's not a disease.
No.
This is literally like one of those one-offs where it kind of borderlines like not real, but it was a cool idea of going back to regress, right? Because that's another word we use for going back. Is
Regression, yeah.
right? So he went from becoming a young man, a baby, to becoming a young man, and then a full-grown adult. He got old, and then he got reversed everything back.
That's kind of like immortality in a way.
Well, no, because eventually,
The body doesn't keep up. It's just the mind.
yeah.
If the body doesn't keep up, then
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you know what is the most immortal species of animal?
is it
The turtle?
Nope.
No, it is I forgot the name of it. It's something bear.
No.
You're not, is that it? Okay.
You mean the
It's an aquatic species.
Oh, an aquatic species?
that lasts the longest? Or-
No,
Axolotl?
it's immortal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Axolotl or
No.
the starfish?
A jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Oh,
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't-
no.
they don't-
Yeah, so basically when their cells are about to die, they regress their cells,
Oh, wow.
right? How fucking cool is that? They pretty much can
Cheat death.
they could cheat death over and over. Mr. Grimm, I know you're watching this show in your dungeon, give us the ability. You let us time travel via cartoon. Mr. Valentine almost had an alien affair.
Damn you,
With the
Grim Reaper.
chupacabra drinking.
Damn
Right,
you, Grim Reaper.
But most importantly, it's that. But that's actually being used now in science labs to figure out a way to
Reverse
let humans.
That would be a
live
really good way to
longer.
reverse cancer too. I mean, because doesn't
Right.
cancer kill off white blood cells?
What if they make like a medicine with jellyfishes?
That's what they're trying to do. That's what I think they're trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that could potentially solve the problem with cancer.
What about that prehistoric animal that you say it's on beach in the beach. It's like a type of crab that they extract his blood is blue.
Oh, you're talking about the
Horseshoe
horseshoe crab.
Horseshoe
There
crabs.
you go.
You see,
Those aren't
for
prehistoric.
those of you who are New Yorkers, you see a lot of those in Orchard Beach.
So they're saying that's like a prehistoric, like that.
Yeah,
The,
but the
the
problem
animal
is
has
that-
lived for a very long time.
So they really doing damage to that species because it's to extract that. Eventually, they end up killing it. So it's not like
their
But
their
they-
blood goes for millions of dollars.
What they use their blood for?
Research and medicine.
right.
Oh,
I'm pretty
wow.
sure it's restoring medicines. I'm not too sure what medicines exactly.
That's crazy.
But that animal has been in the world for a very long time.
So if we mix that with the jellyfish, we can create a super serum.
Someone's gonna be the new Captain America.
Hey,
It'll be you, Frank, because you're the man of action.
there you go.
Look at that. He even has the sound effects. He didn't have to lift a finger.
I felt threatened.
So I quit. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I felt threatened there.
All right. So a lot of cool things that happen with a lot of this stuff that gets discovered. Like, for example, they're using the cells of a jellyfish that has the ability to be immortal. That means you can live throughout time.
Wow.
Right? You have this special horseshoe crab super serum, right, that you think about all the time. And it has the potential to make great potential opportunities. But the question becomes, who wants to live forever? Who wants to live
Honestly, it's
forever?
That's why people call it a curse, the curse of immortality.
I don't think it's a curse. I
No,
think,
no.
Listen,
You have to read.
you live long enough to see everyone you love die.
I mean,
If
that's
you
it.
have-
I think that will be the only sad part. But beside that,
Jesus
I mean,
Christ, you have no soul.
Like, listen,
No, I'm
Frank.
saying no, but I mean, they can always be with you in your memory.
Yeah,
So-
but you're gonna see the world end eventually.
So the funny part is the way he said it sounded was like this. Well, you don't. I'll just start a new family.
No, I'm just saying that it will be a blessing and a curse.
You
know
can't.
what I
You
mean?
can't. You can't take it
Listen,
back.
there's a comic. There's a Marvel. I think it's a Marvel hero called Mr. Immortal. He has something called true immortality. He lived long enough to see the world end and the universe die and still live. At that point, you'd be living in a void.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
So let me tell you, there is another story, a great read. I call it one of the better reads about immortality. And by the way, we're talking about immortality in reference to time. Living forever has its own separate type of effects because you're essentially slowly traveling in time and seeing everything that you
Like a vampire.
grew up with disappear, right?
Talking about vampires, Mr.
Hold on.
Matt makes sense.
right?
Vampires sleep through time.
Right. And then you have a portrait of Dorian Gray. Have you ever heard of that?
Dorian Gray.
Yeah, portrait of Dorian Gray.
That name sounds so familiar.
Okay,
he
so-
was a muscle man. Dorian Gray.
No. You see, you just went to the deep end. So Dorian Gray was an aristocrat, a famous person in his time period, and basically he had immortality because he had a portrait that was made of him that was kind of like cursed, and the only rule was he would be immortal as long as he doesn't look at his portrait.
Okay.
There you go.
The picture of Dorian Gray.
Gray. So the image of the painting would age, but he wouldn't,
Okay.
which was the cool part. But
But that was not real, right? That's like a
well, no,
book.
it's a story. It's a story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a book.
But that goes into Max Meek's point. Like, what was he?
He
right?
said, vampires sleep through times.
Yeah, they do.
Well, he
And-
put time, but I imagine he want to say time.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So you have that, right? Now that he jumped on that, Max brings out another good point, which is vampirism, right? Vampirism has been here long before our time. It has been part of the culture,
folklore.
specifically folklore, Romanian folklore, and it has since then transmigrated over to New Orleans.
The
Right.
New Orleans.
Right, so now you have that, and the rumor is that vampires live for long periods of time, sometimes even centuries, right? So they get to see a great amount of change over a period of time. So they're essentially another slow traveling group of people, and they must feed.
And there's only one thing they love to eat.
Blood.
They're only noodles, Michael.
They're only noodles, Michael.
You know, I saw that movie recently, right?
Oh, isn't it great?
Yeah.
It never gets old. I
One of
think
the
it
best
is-
vampire movies
No,
of all time.
Stop right there. Vampire movies, it is the vampire movie.
Yeah.
The second best one is Interview with a Vampire,
Yeah, that's a great movie.
right?
Fright Night.
And then Fright Night.
Fright
is my
Night is
third,
good.
Fright Night.
right?
And
only
Bram
because
Stoker,
only
Bram
because
Stoker.
of my guy Evil. Oh, Charlie Brewster, we're gonna give you a hickey. It was so good. It had so many cool buzz lines on it.
But Bram Stoker Dracula was good too.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that came out of a book, right?
Oh, okay.
So
It was not original. Gotcha.
So for example, The Lost Boys
Yeah.
was supposed to be like a Peter Pan story that they tried to recreate, but it didn't fall through, and they just made this cool. It's the perception of how cool vampires were, right? Of that made Lost Boys so cool. A group of teenage kids that were, 80s hair metal looking, You know, I think that it still holds to this day because
It
of how
encapsulates the
edgy.
80s.
Not only that, it's edgy. Like for its time, it was like it's so far ahead, right? But anyways, I digress. We need to go back in time.
I got Yvette Otero. It says, looks great, guys. Thank you, Yvette.
Well, thank you so much. How do we sound, Yvette? Do we sound clean? Is it sound crystal clear?
She said we look great, guys. Yeah, great.
So, let's go back because there is something very interesting, right? That I was reading and I was looking up. By the way, there's a lot of YouTubers that are out there that have these stories and they do very good narratives of it. We kind of globally discuss it at the surface.
They do deep dives.
They do really good deep dives. So I do listen to them. At some point, I will like create a section where we just point them out and pull them out and give them their flowers, if you will. For TikTok, if you're into the paranormal, there's a lady who has a channel called Creepy Confidentials. So you want to check her out. I think her stuff is great. I've been listening to it lately on TikTok. She does have her own website. So just go to TikTok and check it out. Creepy Confidential. Really good stuff. But John Titor, right? So, AKA, he goes by the pseudonym Time Travel _0. So, what happened with John Titor, right? Apparently, between 1998 and 2001, he called in Coast to Coast Radio, right? And he claimed to be a time traveler who needed to travel to 1975 to find a IBM 5100 PC. And the reason is there was specific programming language that they needed to get experts for in order to resolve a problem, a crisis that was happening in his timeline, right? However, he ended up in 1998. This became like one of the coolest things I've ever heard. Now, has it been debunked? I'm not sure. But I remember hearing it vividly, and I didn't get the recording because I don't want to keep using stuff from other sources, but you should check it out. It's online. John Titor, that's Titor, and you could put Coast to Coast. And basically, he kind of went into this thing where he was telling us the future. Now, like all prophets, right, that predict the future, they don't always get it right. But he did have a couple of them, and he was spot on. But when he was questioned about it later, and then, you know, I'll tell you what happened after. But when he was questioned about it, he ends up saying that because of what he did in time traveling, he messed up the
natural order of things.
The natural order of things. So what's supposed to happen couldn't happen because he messed it up.
Wow.
So this was an actual thing that happened on radio. Is it real? I don't know, but it was a really interesting case. So yeah.
I actually do have a case I want to talk about. So this is more of a recent one. There was a series of TikTok videos of this guy who was going to places that don't exist anymore, or like older locations. And I like the concept of it because when he went there, nothing was there. No people, no cars, no wildlife. And I like the concept of everyone moving up with time and everything in the past being empty, you know? So there were, I don't know if these could be real, these could be fake, but he was going to a Domino's or Pizza Hut from the 1980s, completely empty. Parking lot empty, roads empty.
I've actually seen that on TikTok.
Yeah, I think
there's a guy that he's like, oh look, this is a mall
from the 1980s, and it's completely empty.
There's nobody there, but that kind of leads to a different kind of fear,
like backroom stuff.
Yeah. Watch the movie. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, so it kind of leads into that space, right? And it's what I call a mind fuck, right? Imagine you actually have the ability to go back in time, and when you go,
it's empty.
It's empty. Right? It reminds me of the very first episode of The Twilight Zone. So The Twilight Zone, there is a guy who's like in the town, and he's like asking for someone to show up and help him. He's eating from a restaurant, and only to realize that he couldn't be alone. Right? It was a test about being alone, and basically he wakes up, he's inside like this machine that puts him in an altered reality. And he's like, I would never want to do that again. And he was there for 60 days. It's a bugged out episode for those of you who like that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
You know, in Orlando, right? There's still the only Radio Shack.
Really? Orlando has a Radio
Yeah,
Shack
I
still?
went. I went.
How'd it look?
It's true. It's true.
he traveled.
It doesn't
You
look.
traveled.
It's, it looks kind of like the same. Of course, the merchandise and stuff are different, but there's still, you can Google it, you can check it out. There's a Radio Shack in Orlando. I think this is the last one. And I guess there's also a Blockbuster Video somewhere in the United States that's
Yeah.
still.
There's only one. I think there's only like
Still
one
exists.
Blockbuster in like the United States still. So there's not many left of that.
I'm telling you, man, you can still travel.
Yeah.
I think that the opportunities sometimes present themselves in the most innocuous ways, right? And for to your point, there are cases in which, and by the way, I'm just going through my notes because we like literally documented a lot of the talking points we wanted to say. But there is a story behind this, right? And these, it's called the Moberly Jourdain incident. Apparently, this happened in 1901, right? And essentially, these two women claimed, right, that they were in 18th century Versailles, right, and came back. Now, what does that remind you of? Story-wise. Something very close to us. Something very close to us, yes.
I'm thinking. I'm trying to think.
Of two ladies that travel.
So no, just traveling.
Thelma and Louise.
Just jump right off the cliff, right? Oh shit! No, so where this goes, right? It goes into the Bermuda Triangle stories
yeah.
of people flying through time, and they end up going in through a cloud of smoke or like some kind of tunnel, and they end up experiencing a different timeline, and then when they come back, everything is back to normal. So here's an interesting one. A Mexican pilot actually documented this.
I heard that one.
There
You are
go.
right.
There you go. So we actually went through this experience already once, right? Where you can hear the pilots, calling in, and he's flying and looking around, and everything looks so different. And when he flies back through that same way he came in from, everything checked out. This is actually recorded footage and documented. So for those of you who are interested, look that up, right? It's one of those weird situations, but that's what it reminds me of. Those mysteries where people go to Bermuda Triangle and they say that they'll end up somewhere where it just looks familiar, but they know it's not in the right place. Right?
I think this transitions into something that I'm going to talk about.
Right. So before you continue, there's a famous pilot that we know, and of course it's been debunked. But for many years, they thought Amelia Earhart went through one of those tunnels,
Loophole.
right? Yeah. So and she came back. So
Wow.
that kind of was like one of those ideas. You got the
But
floor?
this actually translates into something that we're going to transition into: time gaps in time. And this sort of goes over, or this specific concept talks about how there are moments where you blink and you don't remember time passing, or time just goes and you don't realize it. And a lot of the stories sort of have the same format where someone goes into a forest, they blink, 10 minutes pass by in their eyes, secretly 4 hours passed. And a lot of this either comes from just perception, I want to say perception, or a greater entity. And I like to think aliens do this mainly, because a lot of these events happen in the forest. A lot of time gaps happen in the forest.
So this kind of helps me out understand something, because there are times where you can sleep for what feels like forever, but only 2 hours pass, and then you wake up and you feel so good.
So good.
But then you sleep 8 hours, and then you're like, oh, I
way
feel
too
good.
Yeah. That happens to a lot of people when you nap. Sometimes you guys close your eyes for 10 minutes, you blink, and next thing you know, 3 hours passed.
And you're like, what the hell happened?
What happened? I
think,
closed my eyes for 10 minutes.
Well, it's been saying that when you go to sleep, your soul get out of your body, and you start wandering around. You do like an astral projecting stuff.
Right.
Supposedly that happen when you go to sleep. Not always, but sometimes. I think that when you wake up that tired, maybe because you were out of your body and you were just
Exploring.
flying.
You were exploring.
Exploring,
Right,
yeah,
right.
flying around, and when you get back, you're so tired because you never rest. You know what I mean?
Your soul didn't rest.
Exactly. So
So this now goes into a different realm, right? Because now you went to gaps in time. But what if you already knew the future, right?
Ooh.
So I want to give you an interesting case, right? And that case is the case of Andrew Carrison, the man who knew the future. You know what he did? This is your favorite, Frank. He turned $800 into $1 million with perfect trades.
wow.
Yeah. So that's an interesting story. I don't know if that's real or not. Again, this is for all intents and purposes. We discuss the unknown. You discover your truths. If you think it's real, then by all means. But this is one of those. It could be luck, right? Because luck favors into people's things, and you can have such
Some
a thing
have
as a
the
streak,
hand of the gambler.
right?
Some have it.
Some have the monkey's paw.
The monkey's paw, exactly.
But think about this: if you can travel through time, I would have grabbed the lottery number.
Yeah, but then again, that
Then-
can alter the future in a bad way.
You could alter the future in a bad
What
way.
if
man.
somebody who did it, who's supposed to win, doesn't win?
Who cares about that person?
But then again,
Damn, that's
dang,
you're two for
that's
two
two for
today.
two.
I just need the
You're-
Powerball.
You're 2 for 2. You would abandon your family through immortality.
Wow.
So money, power, and respect. That's
we know what Frank values
Good old
now.
Frank.
We know what he values.
No, I'm saying, imagine that thing. If you can do that, that would be great. I mean,
That would be great, but then again, you have to pay attention to the consequences. That can cause a whole bunch of slip of events.
So
that can-
what is the point of traveling through the future if you cannot just do nothing?
No, it's not. It's
You
not
know
so
what I mean?
much. Look, the idea, the fantasy, the lore sells, right? Because it's something that we all are curious about. What does the future hold? Right? We kind of discussed this when we went about the World's Fair. Right? Many years ago, this was something that was out there so that people could have a glimpse into the future. It's no longer done because the future shouldn't be exposed to that extent, right? And not that I'm in agreement. I'm saying right as in like we already know this shit, right? But the truth of the matter is that some things are better left to curiosity than it is to act on. If I had the capability to go into the future, I wouldn't want to see that, right? Because what if you see something you can't unsee, right? That's kind of like the hard part. That's really the part about time
and
that
there's
kind
nothing.
of,
There's nothing you could do about it.
you know.
Because the
That's-
minute you alter one thing, more things will pop up in its place.
So now that we're going into time travel, so you ever heard of Rudolph Fentz?
I know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay, Rudolph Fentz is an urban legend, a New York urban legend.
Knicks at 5.
Shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks. They win the
Body
championship.
Brunson.
About time.
The little man took the show. But all seriousness, urban legend about a man who appeared in Times Square, and he was from 1876.
That was the guy that disappeared in the middle of the road.
I thought it was the guy, the cowboy guy with the underwear, the city cowboy.
The naked cowboy.
But could you imagine that you're walking in the street and out of nowhere, a guy dressed up in 1876 clothing shows up and, excuse me, sir,
Good day, sir. What time is it? Like, I have an inquiry.
what year are we in? It's just a mind bending, right? Or time bending at this
Time
point.
been hey.
So yeah, so we went over a lot, right? There are, you said gaps in time, but there's also slips in time.
Ooh, a slip.
Yeah,
Like an accidental?
like a Freudian slip. That's when you say something you're not supposed to say, it just slips right out. No, but a slip in time is kind of different. It's like you're walking down the street, right? And then you see a shop, and when you turn around, that shop is no longer there.
Oh, you thought it was there, but it's not.
It's not
It's
there.
not there, but because it was from a different time period. So you kind of like just went in and out through
Yeah.
time. Right? They call that a slip in time. Right? So that
Like a
that,
displacement.
that happened in Liverpool, reportedly, allegedly happened in Liverpool. Right? So yeah, so that is another way to look at time, right? This is my favorite one, and I think you'll cover some of this better. Missing time and alien abductions.
Oh, alien abductions. So, missing time and alien abductions. When a person gets abducted by a group of by aliens and something happens to them, they somehow don't remember what happens within that time frame, or even after and before that time frame. And with a lot of cases, they only report. Some people don't even remember remember whatever happens. They blink and it happens and they're back. They don't know they were abducted, but they were gone for how long, how many days, hours. It reminds me of Riker. I don't know if you remember
Yeah, I remember that.
the whole Riker situation.
So that Riker was for missing 411. Right, he was the
such a
kid,
good-
and that was terrifying. When I
Yeah.
saw the pictures of what he looked like when they found
After-
him, he looked like he saw something and did something or went through something that.
he didn't say a thing.
Yeah, that was scary.
He did, and that's what a lot of people report. A lot of people who've been taken by UFOs allegedly happens. They just blink. It happens.
So it's
don't
like
know.
it's like Fire in the Sky,
Oh, that's a great movie.
right?
I remember when it came out.
Yeah,
It was a big thing.
So it was actually based on a true event or true story, and the gentleman reported that he was abducted, and his friends allegedly saw him getting beamed up, and he went through this whole alien autopsy. They found him naked on a telephone post and like
Yeah.
miles far away, and yeah, he was supposedly abducted.
Probably
and
they
experimented.
experimented on him. They put probes and stuff. And,
Probes.
yeah.
It reminds me of
stuff
South Park.
You know what other movie? I heard some criticism about it, but the new one.
Interstellar.
No, the new one Encounter, Disclosure. The new one.
Oh yeah, so it was
Steven Spielberg.
It supposedly was horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't the way like it. They just play games, but anyway, that one you said. What was the name of that one?
The Missing 411.
No, the movie you said.
Fire in the Sky.
Oh, I said Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar.
Interstellar was good,
So
yeah.
basically, this is what happens when you go through a black hole, which is funny because, well, allegedly, right? Because we've never gone through one of those.
People who say one of
But
like three things. You get spaghetti
John
or something.
Titor, right, said that when he traveled through, well, not John Titor, Time Traveler Zero. John Titor said that they actually achieved time travel through going through, I guess, like smaller versions of black holes, right?
Because reportedly a full one will just turn you into spaghetti.
Right. So that was kind of like the reality of it. Now, there's a lot of cases of people being abducted by aliens and experiencing that loss of time, or that sense that time was longer, but it was actually shorter when they got back, right?
You ever watched that movie with Judy Foster, Contact?
Oh, that was great.
That's a great movie. You need to watch that movie. It's a little bit old, but that was actually filmed in Puerto Rico, part of it, with the radio
the
telescope.
satellite, right?
Yeah.
That's where they got the WOW signal, I believe.
The wow, yeah.
All right. So
It was an alien that says wow.
Project Pegasus.
Yeah, when I was doing my research about it, of Project Pegasus, right? It was kind of a little bit hard to find because there was another Project Pegasus that happened recently, but it doesn't have to do with Time travel.
or anything. Yeah.
But you heard about that one?
No, I have not.
I'm just gonna give you a brief about it. So, Project Pegasus. The Pegasus project was into 2021 international investigation journalist initiative that exposed the widespread use of Pegasus spyware developed by Israel's NSAO group by government to spy in journalists, activists, politicians, and business leaders. Investigation revealed that government used the spyware to target high-profile individuals, including opposition politicians, human rights activists, and even former elections commissioners, raising major concerns about privacy and government overreach. That was, supposedly it will only harm the iPhones. So that because that's the most that everybody uses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were pretty much spying on everybody. And But going back to the project Pegasus that really matters to this. Well, we're talking about time traveling, right? So Project Pegasus it was a secret U.S. government program that claims to have achieved teleportation and time travel during the late 1960s and early 1970s. The conspiracy theory is primarily based on the testimony of Andrew Bisiago, who stated that the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency (DARPA) used technology based of Nikola Tesla confiscated papers. And we know, I think it was Donald Trump's uncle that grabbed all that information when he died, something like that, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Wish he was my uncle.
They also say about that there's a book,
Baron
Trump's is about time traveling and stuff, right?
Right.
You see? Anyway.
I think that it ends with the final book is called The Last Great President.
There you go. You see?
Yeah, it's a freaky.
It's freaky.
Yeah.
You guys need to check that out. So the court claims that child participants, Besiago alleged that the government recruited childs to act as chrononauts. It was claimed that the children's flexible mind handled the severe psychological and physical stress of temporal displacement better than adult subjects. Sounds kind of like 11, right?
That is.
Yeah.
Literally.
Historical signings. Bisiago claims to have traveled through time, space to witness significant historical events such as Abraham Lincoln, Gettysburg Address in 1863, and Ford's Theater the night Lincoln was assassinated. Mars teleportation. In addition to time travelers, the project allegedly developed teleportation jumps rooms that sent participants to Mars in the early 1980s. So that was not that long ago. Well, I was born in 84, so
Old.
This the evidence and skepticism. The photographic proof. Besiago pointed to a specific historical photograph taken by Josephine Cobb at Gettysburg as a visual evidence, claiming that appears into the foreground. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, what do you think about this?
Project Pegasus? I mean,
what's the latest trend right now? We have our president talking to oddly looking species of people,
Like that,
right? Recently,
the Nordics.
or something to that effect.
Yeah.
There's an alleged disclosed piece of intel that says that there are 5 new species that are here in the United States.
The reptilians, the insectoids, the Nordics, and
So
the Greys.
who's to say that this is not possible, right?
yeah.
Or that maybe they bent the truth a little, but there's a lot more to it, right? So
I mean, they say they went to Mars. That's how crazy this gets.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
They made a jump
that's
to
where it
Mars.
goes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot to go when we cover time.
There's
right?
so much that happens with it. I mean, you can go on. You can talk about time for hours. Huh. Time pun. Hey.
So
Hey.
so yeah. So I think at this point we really have to talk about things that most people won't really address. You know that there's 6 versions of you in this planet, right?
6?
6.
Why 6?
It's a
And no 7, 6, 7.
6, 7. No, so
I hear
there-
about enough of that network.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but there's this thing that was spoken about many years ago, and we call it 6 degrees of separation. And there's 6 different versions of you with different families, but they look identical to you, right? So imagine that. And this you learn if you're a music buff, you know this, right? You could find the same note in a guitar, sounds slightly different in pitch, right? But it's the same note. We call that an octave higher, right? Or an octave lower. That's called string theory, right? So you can find the same notes, right? In a piano and a guitar, but in guitar is more prominent, right? Because you can find kind of like the equivalent of that sound, but not exact, right? Just slightly a deviation in frequency. So what happens if there's these 6 versions of you in this planet, right? that they're meant to be in this planet, but then you go into a parallel universe and there's a wealthy version of you. In another universe, there's another version of you that's poor.
A hobo.
There's another version of you that's a murderer, right?
Wow.
That's a
There's
war
so many
veteran.
different,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of different versions of you.
Did you ever watch the movie The One with Jet Li?
That's it.
The One?
I thought you was the one.
No, for real. You ever watch that movie?
Oh no, you're the two.
No.
The 3.
In that movie, that's one of the greatest Jet Li movies that I ever seen. I went to the movie theater to see it. In that movie, right? They're kind of like time cops or whatever, but these time cops get rogue, and he start killing all his versions.
All the other versions of
All the
him.
other versions for him. Every time he killed one of his versions, he became more powerful.
Yeah.
To the almost immortal or faster, stronger.
So
So-
now let's go into the creepy shit, right? You know what a doppelganger is?
Yes. An exact copy.
All right.
not.
So what is a mimic?
Not an exact copy, but something,
Not an exact copy. What if that mimic knows the reality that you are? And now these are what if moments. What if that mimic is from a different universe and is looking to get you because it can absorb you and everything about you and become you
Become stronger.
and become a stronger version of you? And then it leaves and goes to a different parallel universe.
To
It does
take
the
another.
same. That's how I look at mimics in my mind, right?
What is a mimic like?
It's not an exact copy of you. It is something that is.
It's like
It tries to become
It tries
you,
to become
but
you.
but it has flaws.
a skinwalker.
No,
No,
Skinwalker
nothing like a
is-
skinwalker. It's
No.
a skinwalker just takes the form of you. A mimic is something that looks like you but
it's
isn't
not you.
perfect.
It's not perfect.
So it can. It's like
it
us.
it could be missing
it's
an
not-
ear.
It's like that movie
It's
Us.
a-
I think.
yeah.
What's the name of it?
Yeah.
With the doppelganger family.
Yeah,
Where the-
so-
yeah.
And notice how everybody can get mimicked except for me.
Why?
I am the Lord.
Wow.
And that's how J Rock was not found the next morning.
But yeah, so there's just a lot of like what ifs that comes with time. What if in another world the moon landing was
real.
What if instead of 3 guys, we're 3 women or 2 women?
That's just
In
alternate,
another
that's just
reality.
alternate reality.
Francis, Donatella,
There you go.
Josephine?
Who
There you go.
knows?
I'd say so. Diana.
Diana. So yeah, so
I'll be Francesca.
So a lot of this is very interesting, right? I like the whole visitors from the future. There's a lot of secret government cover-ups.
It's like regular show.
Right?
I don't know if you remember that episode of regular
I love
show
regular show.
with
Oh,
the
so
with the
great.
two with the two Mordecai and Rigby from the future.
Hmm.
Right. So good.
Really good show.
You know which one I like too? What is the?
Adventure Time.
No, the kid with the grandpa.
Oh,
Oh my
wait.
God, I forgot.
Wait, Uncle Grandpa?
No, the cartoons.
Oh, is it Flapjack?
Flapjack.
No.
Captain Knuckles.
It's a
Morty.
Oh, Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and
There
Morty.
you go.
It's gonna be my whole entire existence is a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morty. Yeah.
The Morty with the patch. With the
Evil
eye patch.
Morty.
Yeah.
Evil Morty.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into it. You have the altered realities. There was a movie that happened many years ago. It was called Altered States. And it leads it's a real psychological mind fuck type thing where you gotta watch it. I believe it's oh my god, what's his name? He was a really good actor too. Well, I mean, I'll find out, but it's about like a person going through different types of realities, right? And it's kind of like a mind.
I'm refraining myself from making the joke again.
What
A
distorted,
distorted reality.
We got
but
Smoky Flames. Be careful. LOL. He just said, "What's up, IFG?" What is
so
IFG?
so
What's IFG? I don't know.
so before we continue, we just want to give a shout out to everybody that's on the chat. Smoky is Flames and Max Meek. All right. So yeah, so let me ask you guys the question, and I want you to answer it, right? If time travel exists, why haven't we been visited, or do you think we have?
Wow. Maybe because we haven't screwed it up at the point that we need to. You know what I mean? Like in that episode, Dragon Ball, right?
Next time on
Oh,
Dragon
with
Ball
Trunks,
Z.
future Trunks.
Yeah, Goku was about to die.
He had to get the heart.
And he
He
needed
had to
the
get
medicine,
heart medicine.
the
Yeah.
heart medicine, and then Trunks appears with the medicine, right? Because he knew that
The
they
future's
it
destroyed
was
and all
important
that,
for
yeah.
the future, right? Maybe we haven't get to that point that, maybe our future is good. You know what I mean? Because we haven't. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think it's something like that.
Or maybe we have been visited and we don't know. The person could if he coming from the future, could wear a synthetic mask that looks different. You know what I mean? That way he don't alter the time and space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe talk to you when you're buying bread or something. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, you imagine that?
You know, something. You know,
Like
right?
trying to alter the events of that day.
Yeah. Like,
Maybe that could have happened. Maybe we were visited. Maybe we were not visited yet because we didn't screw something up. That's what I think. I mean, if we did screw something up, then I'm pretty sure someone from the future would come and be like, "Hey, go back, do what you got, go back."
Like Bishop from the X-Men.
Yeah. Yep.
What's his name?
Bishop, right? It sounds weird. That's my accent.
Bishop.
Bishop. There
Bishop.
you go. Yeah,
It
it's
sounds like
weird.
you say, "Yo, you bitched up."
Well, in that episode, he comes back from the future to save the X-Men, right?
Right.
What about you, J-Rock?
Because I was a fan, I am a fan of the ancient astronaut theories. I think that whenever something catastrophic is about to happen, somebody from the future comes to the past to correct it, but not perfectly. He leaves enough room for error, so that way he doesn't distort reality.
He joined in.
There you go. So, I mean, we make light of this stuff, but it is a big fascination of mine. And again, when we do this show, by the way, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're not subject matter experts in everything. We do our research and we present it as is for you to decide what you feel is right for you. This is an all-inclusive area, community where you come in and you can feel safe to even call in and give your opinion on something.
Discuss the unknown and discover your truth.
The point of the matter is we don't want you to fall into the norm, right? We want you to feel what you feel and think what you think and believe what you want to believe and say, hey, it's okay. Doesn't matter, right? But I think that my thoughts on this is very simplistic, right? I think a lot of it has to do with somebody having a hand on or control over this, because somebody must have discovered it first, and therefore they can see. It's like one of those characters in a comic book that they have the ability to see all the future outcomes.
Yeah.
And they go, this is the best route you should take.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's being done. The hand is being navigated. However, the end, I believe, is unavoidable. Everyone will face the end.
100%.
Right? Whether it's your end is short or your end is at the end, meaning the end of existence as we know it, if it is a thing, then we will experience it no matter what. You just prolonging the trajectory before it happens. That's my thought on that. So I think it's kind of like a way for me to accept how time is manipulated, right? But I look at time from a different perspective also, and that's the psychological and emotional effects of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is where we can get away from all the nonsense and let's talk about the importance of time. What does time mean for you?
Well, I view time as something so important because, again, J-Rock said this in the beginning. We're all running on borrowed time. I look at time as such a precious resource, and I think everyone should look at it that way as well. You don't know when our final moment's going to come up. You don't know what we're going to expect when we are going to end. But I think time is something that everyone needs to keep in their hearts and not just, throw to the side. Use your time. Use it.
Beautifully said. What about you, Frank?
Regarding the time,
Mm-hmm.
there was a guy that knew a lot about time. His name was Juan Gabriel. Juan Gabriel. He had a beautiful song that says, Abrázame muy fuerte, amor, manténme hacia tu lado.
Go
Y dice,
Frank.
abrázame muy fuerte, que el tiempo no perdona, decía.
Right.
Creo que era. So es verdad, a veces nos aferramos a cosas que no son necesarias y el tiempo pasa y dejamos pasar el tiempo y
Wow, that's
se
nice.
pierde muchas cosas, ¿me entiendes?
That's deep.
Hay que vivir, hay que empezar a vivir. We need to start living, guys. We need to
Live.
start living.
Now, J-Rock, what does time mean to you?
Time is short.
I look at it from a very, and of course, out of the three, I'm the most logical and less emotionally attached one, but I'm learning, right? I'm learning the emotional aspects of it. You are born as 1 in 1 trillionth of an opportunity to be born uniquely you, right? And I think time is tethered to something called purpose. And the goal is to find your purpose and make the best of your time while you're here to fulfill the purpose so that you can move forward. And through that time, you will face many adventures, many hurdles, many times where you're going to have to face and overcome adversity to become the greater or best version of yourself before your time is up and leave your dent in the world. Time doesn't forgive. Time cannot be bought or bought back, right? Time is not a commodity. It's the illusion that we're sold that it is a commodity. So when you're told time is money, you're being sold on a fool's errand. That's why you work 8 hours a week, 5 days a week, 365 days a year, and you get 2 weeks off, all the way to your 65. To then retire and only have maybe, if you're lucky, 5 to 6 years to enjoy whatever time you have left. That's my stance on time. How do you best become efficient with your time so that you can spend more of your time living instead of doing the monotony that you do every single day, right? I'm a proponent, I'm a fan of living your best life, living with meaning, living with purpose, and making the best use of your time, right? It's a hard truth that a lot of us come to learn very late in life, right? And some of us have to deal with that. There's no way around it because you essentially ran out of time. There is no other choice, right? But if you understand that concept really well, you would make the proper choices early on in life so that you can buy your time, or in this case, buy your freedom to enjoy your time. So that's kind of like the construct that has been designed for us globally as a world, right? Some places are more flexible than others. For example, if you lose your job in Europe, you will get unemployment for as long as you're looking for work. So if I go for one interview a week, I still get unemployment. Like, that's kind of like my logic. It's not 100% accurate, but that's kind of like my logic, right? So I guess it's time for us to go into the final thoughts. So we're gonna go in the sequence from the youngest to me, and we'll say our goodbyes. And of course, we have more than enough time to do more shows.
But time is something everyone should just keep to their heart. I really enjoy talking about it because I still have so much time left. But
Amen to that.
Amen to that. And if my time is cut short, then at least I know I got to do a lot of stuff with the people I love, and they got to experience a lot of cool stuff. But everyone, make the most out of your time and live life. And with that, I'm Mr. Valentine. I'm stepping back.
Frank.
Well, I will say that time is short and time flies by. I remember when I was in school, time seems to be forever. For some reason, days were so long, and even the summer was so long. Now everything is so short, not even the hours. Sometimes I want to do so much and I can't. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know if something changed through time. I don't know if there was a vortex or something happened, the Mandela effect. I don't know. But I seem times is becoming shorter and shorter. To do the things that you want to do in this earth, you know, we want to do everything, conquer the earth in a way, you know what I mean? Right. But it's time is short for some reason. I don't feel the time the same that used to be before. I don't know if it's me. Maybe that happens to you too. I don't know. But I will say to take advantage of time. Don't let time pass through you. You know what I mean?
Why don't you say it in Spanish for the people once you're done in English?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. En español sería que me acuerdo de joven que el tiempo era como que más largo. El tiempo duraba más. Los veranos eran larguísimos. Y como que ahora el tiempo como que no da. Cuando abrimos los ojos ya vamos para el año que viene prácticamente, ¿sabes? Es como si el tiempo fuera volando. Yo les aconsejo que aprovechen el tiempo, hagan lo mejor que puedan hacer con sus vidas, creen un futuro, aunque el futuro sea incierto, pero creen algo para el futuro, ¿cómo se dice? Un cojín, un matre, algo. You need to create something for the future. Y nada, les deseo lo mejor a todos. Gracias por ver el programa, gracias por su apoyo. De verdad que se les agradece mucho. Y sigan sintonizando, que vendrán cosas mejores. Muchas gracias.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Beautifully said.
J-Rock, take the stage.
So there's some things that I never talk about when it comes to time. But here's what my observations have taught me throughout the years. When I was young, the world was much bigger. There was so much to explore. And that's why time felt longer. The idea of being adventurous and seeing the great beyond without having to worry about where the next check is going to come in, where the next bill is going to be paid, where the next item is needed to be acquired, or whatever the case may be. You didn't worry so much about those things, right? You just went with what you had and you took on the world without fear, without thought of consequence, and without this notion that it ended there. The world was only limited to what you imagined to be. Somewhere down the line, we grew up and kind of developed this concept that you had to change those thoughts, right? Not necessarily integrate those thoughts with your grown-up version of yourself, but rather change them completely and dismiss it. And the world became smaller because the concept became very finite. I think that ultimately alters time. When you see the world as big as you want, when you see the mysteries that we talk about, the storytelling, the idea, it makes the world so much better, so much bigger. And yeah, some of it may not be true, right? But that grandeur gives us the ability to perceive time different, right? So what's the takeaway for me? There are times where I wish I can go back and say my final goodbyes to certain individuals I've lost. There are certain things certain decisions I wish I never made. But you have to learn to live with those decisions and move forward. And just remember one thing about time, right? Time in the past is gone. There's nothing left to do. Time in the future is not promised to anyone. It's just a thought. You live in today because it's the present, and that's why it's a gift. J-Rock signing out. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching the Distorted Realities audiocast. This show was produced by J-Rock, Frank Walls, and Mr. Valentine. See you next time, and remember, the truth is out there.